today's lesson. I'm thrilled that you're here, and I'm excited to help you discover and develop your natural singing voice. The very first thing that we need to be talking about is matching pitch. Now, you may not be able to match pitch, and for that reason, you think you can't sing, or you've been told that you can't sing. But the process of matching pitch, which is an ability that we learn, usually at a young age, and the tone quality of your voice, those are two very different things. You might have a beautiful tone quality to your voice, but if you can't match pitch, it might sound like you can't sing. So that needs to be the very first thing that we learn. And what I have discovered over years and years of working with people and working with so many people that never learned to match pitch at a young age is how I can bring them to a point where they can match pitch. And once you learn to match pitch, you never lose it. It's like learning to walk, but you have to go through the process of learning to walk. Once you learn to walk, you really never forget that ability to do that. So what I want you to think about is the fact that you already know how to match pitch. If you didn't know how to match pitch, you would speak in a monotone, because language is very heavy on matching pitch. Otherwise, we can't communicate with the other people that speak our native language. And babies learn to match the voices they hear around them. The inflection. Inflection is just matching pitch with someone else. It seems to be a little easier for people to match pitch with a human voice first, and maybe an instrument like a piano or a guitar is a little bit more advanced for most people. So the very first thing we want to do is have you learn to match my voice. And everybody, even if you think you match pitch well, this is an important course for you to go through and just to double check and make sure that you are able to hear and match pitch. All right, it's so important to singing. There's nothing that makes people say you can't sing other than you can't match pitch. All right, so let's get started. What I want you to think about is the fact that you can already match pitch when it comes to speaking. All right, it's a very important part of language, as I mentioned before. So you did learn that when you were young. For example, I want you to follow me. I'm going to say some sentences, and I want you to repeat them exactly as I say them with the same inflections I use. And I'm going to make them a little broad so that you have to use some broader inflections than you might be used to. All right? So let's try this. How are you? I am fine. Happy birthday. Good morning. Where are you going? I'm so glad to see you. All right, how did you do? I am certain that you were able to say those sentences exactly like I said them. All right, and I'm sure you were able to use the inflections. I bet you were on the exact same speaking pitch that I was using. All right, now the difference between speaking and singing. Speaking is broken up pitch, all right, broken up sound. And singing is continuous sound. That's the only difference. We produce the sound the same, all right, using air, using our vocal cords. But with singing, we continue the sound and develop this beautiful tone quality. All right, so let's do those same sentences again. And this time, I'm going to start to move a little toward continuous sound. And I want you to try to mimic me exactly as you hear me say, okay? So here's the first one. How are you? I am fine. Happy birthday. Good morning. Where are you going? I'm so glad to see you. How'd you do? I bet you came very, very close. Now, some of what I was giving you there was singing, all right? But because you're thinking in terms of matching spoken pitch, which you already know how to do, then you're moving to that next point, which is singing. Now let's try again. This time I'm going to add a little bit more singing to those actual sentences. How are you? I am fine. Happy birthday. Good morning. Where are you going? I'm so glad to see you. How'd you do? Let's try it one more time. How are you? I am fine. Happy birthday. Good morning. Where are you going? I'm so glad to see you. All right, you're moving toward being able to match a pitch with singing. Now, it is a very much an ear training thing, just as it was when you were very young and you learned to match pitch with speaking. Now, if I were to give you a note, let's see if you can match the pitch. Now remember, all we're doing is matching sound waves, all right? It's not really even something we think about. We just have to listen and then try to mimic the sound waves we hear, all right? So let's start with a basic middle C. Ah. Were you able to match that pitch? Let's try another one. Ah. Let's try another one. You may have an easier time matching my singing voice than if I just play the note. Can you match that pitch? See if you can do it. Now see if you can match my singing voice. Ah. I think that we're programmed, first of all, to match the human voice, as a child would. So I think that for some of you it might be easier. I've also had students that find it easier if they can actually play the note on the piano. Maybe it helps with their concentration or their focus. I'm not sure what it is, but if they play the note. So if you have a keyboard at home, go ahead and sit down and play a note, right in the center of the keyboard primarily, and see if you can match it with your ear, all right? Ah. Ah. Right in the center of the sound. You don't want to be too low. That's what we call going flat. And you don't want to be too high. That's what we call going sharp. All right, you want right in the center of that sound. Ah. For those of you who have a little bit lower voice. Ah. Let's see if you can match something higher. Don't worry about your range right now. We're going to talk about that in the next section. Right now we just want to focus on matching pitch. So if you're more comfortable sitting right in the middle of the keyboard, that's fine. We just want to get your ear accustomed to it. And I want you to encourage you to go back, keep going over the sentences that we talked about, and keep trying to match them. And listen to yourself. Listen how you're matching my pitch. And then understand that we just move one more step in that development And that's where we match pitch with singing. All right? Let's try those sentences one more time. And then I encourage you to go back over this if you are not sure that you're matching pitch. If you can't tell for certain, then you may be having a little bit of trouble. Let's try these sentences again, and I'm going to keep adding a little bit more tune to the sentences, okay? How are you? I am fine. Happy birthday. Good morning. Where are you going? I'm so glad to see you. How'd you do? Now I'm doing them different every time. It doesn't really matter what tune you're using, what melody you're using for these types of sentences. Just, start to listen to how you're matching pitch with other people speaking. Maybe find someone in your family or a friend who would do this back and forth with you, and just see if you can't keep mimicking them. And then this process of matching pitch is going to happen for you. All right, you need to listen. If you're still having trouble, listen to the note. Listen first. Ah, and then match. Don't just ah, all right, unless you're very certain. Okay? So you want to listen first. Get your ear used to listening. Ah, all right? Ah, listen first. Pretty soon, that listening comes just like that, so that I can play. Ah, and I know that I'm in the right key. All right, so it's just a process. I encourage you, if you've had this trouble and you've just have never understood why you don't have the ability, I have been able to help so many people to develop their sense of pitch, which I know you have the ability to do. You just have to do it step at a time. Move yourself into singing. All right, don't just expect it to happen. Just take the baby steps to get there, and then you'll never lose it. You'll always have that ability to match pitch. It's just going to get better and better, and you can match pitch with any song. All right, this system has worked for so many people I've worked with, and I know that it can work for you. Nobody is tone deaf. I will say again, nobody is tone deaf. You are able to sing, and we're going to move you into that process.